Hello, I'm Stephen Goldberg, and today I'm pleased to have with me Tom Merson of Tom Merson Marketing Consulting. And I've known Tom for quite a few years. He's owned a printing business called Quick Copy and now has transitioned completely into marketing. Tell me a little bit about what it was like transitioning from being a small business owner to now a marketing consultant. Still a small business owner, but kind of a different scenario.
Mm-hmm. Well, they certainly go hand in hand, Steve. It's an interesting transition because while I had the Quick Copy printing shop, a lot of my marketing background, I was able to help clients in terms of come to terms with their needs for printed materials and how it would fit into their marketing plans. After 22 years of operating the business, I decided to sell and refocus on my marketing practice, which in fact is what I did before the Quick Copy came into my life. And now I knew exactly what it was to operate a small business. And in my current relationship with clients, it gives me a better focus, understanding of what they are going through.
Maybe define a little bit first, what is the difference between marketing and sales?
Interesting question, because my philosophy is somewhat different. I believe that marketing has sort of been construed as everything involving sales or only involving sales and promotion of a business, where in fact marketing is the spirit of a company. It's core values. It involves every phase of the business's operation, including the product itself. The product had to be conceived, or if it's a service, to respond to a need in the marketplace. That's marketing. That's understanding where the need is and replying to it. Production facilities are part of marketing. Where do you produce? How efficient is your system? Your sales staff is a critical part of marketing. How do they cover your territories? What are their, do they sell by product line, or do they sell everything but in a regional area? All these things come into play, and they're all equally important in a marketing plan.
What percentage or how many actually take that kind of an approach to, strategizing or looking at their business prior to actually going out and just, trying different things is what a lot of, small businesses tend to do?
Unfortunately, there are more companies that don't take those steps to create a roadmap for themselves. Usually they have a very passionate motive. They're emotionally involved with a product or service, and they just go for it. If we use a cliche, build it and they will come, it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. You have to be in a responsive mode to a market. There has to be an interest, a demand for what you want to offer. For those companies that do take the time and pain of developing a marketing plan, all too often it ends up being on a shelf or in a drawer, and not referred to on a regular basis.
Why wouldn't, small businesses especially value, the services of a marketing consultant, or even just invest in learning how to do it themselves properly?
What is happening in today's style of doing business is changing so rapidly that the average business isn't even aware of the new tools that are available to them, so that they can come up with a solution, grow their business, better understand their clientele, and all this sort of stuff. The fear of going to an outsider, that it's going to cost them money, a marketing specialist. I mean, all consultants have this reputation of being consultants, and they take your money and run away. But my approach is very different. My approach, I try to understand what their business is all about, how they got to where they are. Obviously, they're doing something right. If they're in business today, they're doing a lot of things right. And usually they need fine-tuning.
Right. Now, you gave a good example just before we started actually rolling the cameras about one customer who did hire you and you're working with now, I guess. And tell us a little bit about that story of how you helped them transform what they were doing or how they were approaching things and the money that they've saved as a result.
We're talking about a firm that's in the cleaning business. They clean offices and homes. They're about a $500,000 a year business. And in my questioning, if you like, at the beginning to try to learn about their expenses, I asked what their advertising budget is. And their answer was, the only thing we advertise in is the Yellow Pages, and that consumes our whole budget because it's a lot of money. That a lot of money was $11,000 a year for Yellow Pages advertising. I took up that challenge because it's way too much money for any business basically, but let alone somebody in that size. I was able, with discussions with Yellow Pages and rationalizing where they appeared and et cetera, and I brought that expense down to $2,000 annually for them. Another aspect that I examined was they were in a 4,000 square foot industrial building, and I questioned whether or not they really needed all that space, and they admitted that it was for, it looked good at the time. And I suggested that they relocate to something that is a little more affordable, as well as being closer to their marketplace. And we were able to, through the help of an associate of mine, to find them a locale where in fact they saved 2/3 of their monthly rent.
Mm-hmm. So they're, just taking your advice or listening to you has helped them rationalize their expenses, save money. You talk about the Yellow Pages. Has that affected their sales negatively because you're going from spending $11,000 to $2,000? Did it affect negatively their sales, or was it really just a gain that they made?
They made a definite gain because they had been brought into a bundle as the Yellow Pages present their products. And the bundle covered them, or gave them coverage in areas that they don't really want to cater to. Their focus for business is mostly, let's say, Ville Saint-Laurent, Tanimont Royal area. And they found themselves in the Yellow Pages for the east end of Montreal as well as for Laval. Awfully wasteful, and that's basically what we did. They lost some image. We took away the display ads. They're listed. They can be found in the Yellow Pages, both hard copy and online, and are not losing any business or any visibility, shall I say.
Now, you've gone from being a printer to a full-blown marketing consultant, and through that period, you lived through the transition from print, or the world of print, and media being the newspapers, the magazines, billboards, which still exist, but obviously we all realize how the digital online landscape has affected the traditional way of marketing yourself. And you mentioned that for, I think, a lot of businesses, it's a difficult transition. How do you see this both as a opportunity, as a threat for very small businesses?
Well, it's a golden opportunity. Even smaller businesses. What I like to suggest is that they think of online as a way to grow their business, and perhaps more importantly, it levels the playing field. You could go online and put up an image of being as big as the national or international people who are competing against you. Mm-hmm. The size of your business there's no yardstick. They can't measure how big you are. You're evaluated by your service and your quality, etc. But so it does, in a way, level the playing field. It is affordable. It is a very creative way to sustain, grow your business, and in many cases, it forms a new channel of distribution. E-commerce, which is a term now that sounds very old, but it is a way of growing your business through a different way of distributing, different way of attracting clients. So it is a very powerful tool. It's something that very few businesses today can actually resist or not get involved.
Well, what's the threat if they do? What do you see?
Their competitors are doing it.
Right.
Okay, so if you're not there, this opens a whole other argument of being present on the internet or being present in social media. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Right.
So it's got to be done properly. If you put the effort on, I have clients that I first meet who say, yes, I'm on social media.
So it goes back to what we originally talked about with the strategy, you know,
exactly.
looking at the...
There has to be a game plan.
Yeah.
You have to know what you want to get out of it.
So whether it's a traditional or it's the same thing, you need to have that strategy.
Exactly.
You had an example that you told me you had, because I had sent you an article about IBM, which caught my attention, being such a great big company and how they've embraced all aspects of social media, both for themselves and as a tool for their clients. And I even read that they're teaching their clients how to use, you know, as one of their consulting services, how to integrate that into their businesses. And along with the data that, you know, they can collect through using their different softwares. But you had also an example that you wanted to tell me about.
The use of social media in your marketing plan. And by the way, all of this online, social media, you know, websites, internet, should not be considered as a full replacement to your traditional marketing. It should become part of or integrated into your marketing plan. But the example that I have, Steve, is where there's a firm in the Midwest, United States, that sells in-ground swimming pools. And they're about a $4 million a year company, spending $200,000 a year on traditional marketing. And the owner of the company decided that he was interested in social networking and how this could benefit his business. Just to fast forward, he fully immersed himself in social networking. He was able to identify very specific needs that clients have for his products. And he grew his business in a period of 18 months from $4 million to $5 million a year. And his $200,000 a year outbound marketing, due to this inbound approach, became $20,000.
Wow.
So it's not an overnight success. I mean, some people set standards or goals or expectations. You've got to work it, and you've got to be patient, but you have to be very, very specific in how you use the social media.
One of the latest tools or ways to market is using video. How do you see that being integrated into the marketing mix for small businesses?
Video, it's been proven, and there are statistics around that visual images, video included, that are integrated into social media, into your website, and even into your email correspondence, is an extremely powerful tool. You know, people are curious. There's a bit of a novelty approach to it at this stage because of its newness, or because it's an emerging technology in terms of marketing, because it's available, it's economically available. It gives you the opportunity to sell your product, to demonstrate your product. It gives you an opportunity to teach people how to use it, you know, educational purposes. And again, I think it's the most powerful tool to come on since sliced bread. Maybe not sliced bread.
Well, thank you, Tom, for sitting in with me today. Now we're going to do this whole thing over again in French. Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, of course.
You are. So if you want to contact Tom, you can reach him at, what's your web address?
My web address is www.tommerson.ca.
And he'd be happy to sit with you and talk about your situation and give you some suggestions or advice and recommendations, I guess.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening, and I'll put that address and his contact information in the description of this video. Hope to see you again soon. Thanks for listening.